Sorry, this video is a long time coming. I know I was supposed to make this video probably about a month ago, but this game came out around the same time as the Elden Ring DLC and the new expansion for Final Fantasy XIV Dawn Trail, on top of my job working me 6 days a week. Anyways, y'all didn't come here for that. Yo, welcome. My name is Kurasagi, and today I have for you my Demon and Nahobino builds for Shin Megami Tensei V Vengeance. So, the way I'm going to do this, I'm going to start off with the demons. We will go through our attackers, our healers, our supports, our buff/debuffs, others, and honorable mentions. Then I will go over 3 Nahobino builds with maybe a 4th optional one. But that being said, let's go ahead and jump into it. Starting with the Matador. So the Matador, we take the Matador as it is the first demon that you can get that has the Crippling Blow innate ability, which makes it as a chance to insta-kill when striking weakness or landing critical hits. So, because there are certain moves in the game that always crits, like this skill, which is a weak attack on all enemies, but it ignores resistance, it pierces, and it always hits. So it's an AoE as well. So because of that, with Crippling Blow, when it crits, there's a chance to insta-kill the enemy. So all the other skills are just to buff that chance. Also, it's very important to have luck. The more luck you have, the higher chance of it insta-killing. So you want to focus on the luck stat for this build. We went for the physical high and regular physical damage increase, because why not make their attacks do more damage? We went for the increased crit damage because this kill always crits. We went for the restore and high restore so that you can recover your MP back, and these do stack, by the way, so you can recover your MP back when you crit. And then we have safeguard, very important skill, so when your attack is dodged, nulled, drained, or repelled, it does not consume a press turn. So let's say this build, I guess I would most likely use for the Miyatamas, but you can use it for pretty much any non-boss encounter. You can use this and you can just breeze through the game. But the Miyatamas have very good agility, so they will dodge a lot, but this will make it to where if they do dodge, it does not, you don't lose 2 of your press turns like you normally would. And then we just have great mana ring just for more MP so that you can cast the skill more. And that's pretty much the build. Now there are 2 other demons that also get this skill, and we will be using the exact same build. Abomination, so same skills as you can see, same innate ability. Of course he has less luck, so you know, it is what it is, but he has good strength and vitality. Next demon is Molt. He also has the Crippling Blow ability. These are the only 3 demons that I know of in the game that has this ability. So Molt is the worst of the 3 because he has low agility and low strength. But you're not really using it for that, using it for the luck. So that being said, good. You put these 3 in your starting party and you're pretty much good to go. Next, we have Nahobino, my favorite demon of all time. Even if this guy wasn't good, I would have used him anyways. So anyways, his innate skill makes it where when he's in an active party, very slightly decreases the amount of Magatsugi consumed by an ally who uses the Magatsugi skill. This is useful, more useful than you think, to be able to use your Magatsugi skills at least like twice in a turn, in certain instances, certain combos. So yeah, it actually is pretty good. Then he has his unique skill, which is just like the Tempest attack that the Nahobino gets, but it's Jack's version of it. So it's got an ice element to it. It's weak, but I freaking love it. So for him, he is my ice attacker. So of course I give him the ice buffs, my bad, high and normal. Then we go for the crits a lot. So when he crits, it does more damage. So because we go for this, you want to make sure he crits as much as possible. So we go for Murderous Glee, which greatly increases his crit rate. Then we put High Restore, which recovers his MP whenever he crits. Gotta cover his weaknesses with Repel Force and Enduring Soul. Of course, when it comes to any of the weakness cover skills that we put on, you can put on whatever you want. If you want just Null, Repel, or if you want to go expensive, go Absorb. You could go either route. Whatever is easy for you, just let you know that we're just covering their weakness. Enduring Soul, I feel like is a must for any demons that you're actually using in your active party for like bosses, because you will get one-shotted a lot. And just being able to take a lethal hit and fully recover is great for your demons. So yeah, this build is pretty self-explanatory. If you have another ice demon you want to use, you can pretty much throw this on, maybe replace this skill with whatever the strongest ice attack they can use for whatever their main stat is. Next, ignore her. Next, Yuzusuna. His innate skill is actually pretty good too. When the user action consumes more than one press turn, it adds a press turn on your next turn. So this confused me the first time I heard it. Pretty much if he does an attack and it's like nulled or absorbed or repelled, you will get an extra turn on your next turn. So it's pretty, pretty good, because once you get to the end game, there are a lot of enemies that will repel or null or absorb physical. So he is my physical attacker. I gave him his unique skill. You can get rid of this if you want to and put on another skill, but I just wanted to keep it on just to give him, I guess, some AoE rotation, AoE abilities, but random is not really great for AoE, but hey, I just wanted to keep his unique skill on it because I like the skill. This is our main damaging attack. It's a severe physical attack on one foe. It has low accuracy, but it always crits. So because of this, you don't have to worry about increasing his crit rate, because this skill will always crit, just like his unique skill, which also always crits. So after that, we're going to go for the physical boost because he's a physical attacker. We got the crits a lot because he always crits. Then we go for the Demon Eye to greatly increase his accuracy, because we don't have to worry about him critting because he's always going to crit. And this will make it to where this skill is dodged a bit less. High Restore, so when you crit, which you always crit, you recover MP. And I didn't go for covering his weakness. Instead, I went for Repel Physical, because every enemy in the game can hit you with a physical attack. Every enemy. So just being able to not have to worry about physical attacks, it's probably one of the best resistances you can have on a demon. So you can always change this. You can go for an Enduring Soul, you can go for covering his weakness, whatever you want to do. But yeah, that's pretty much my physical attacker. Next, my Almighty attacker. I chose him because of his innate ability. While in active party, all allies' Almighty attacks will become crit hits, or may become crit hits. This works sometimes. It doesn't work all the times, but when it do, it's great. It actually is pretty good if you're going for a magic build for the Nahobino, and I'll go over that later. But anyways, we went for the severe strength-based Almighty attack on one foe as a high chance of landing crits. We went, of course, for our buffs. These do stack. Criticals a lot, so when he crits, it does more damage. Murderous Glee, so he crits more. Repel Physical, because it's great to repel physical, and Repel Force to cover his weakness, and Enduring Soul. Self-explanatory, this is pretty much a copy and paste build for any Almighty attackers. Just switch whatever they're attacked to match the highest Almighty attack they can do, as well as their weakness coverage to whatever weaknesses they have. Next, we have the strongest demon of the attack demons in the game, Masakado? Yeah. Anyways, his innate skill increases crit rate and damage of crit hits based on the number of active effects on user. So this means if his attack is increased, it's going to increase the crit rate and the damage of his crit hits. If its defense is increased, it will increase it as well. Like these stack, and also each version of it, so you could do like one attack boost and then another attack boost that counts as 2. So once you get all your stats increased, it'll be like +6. It's great. It's probably one of the best innate skills in the game. And as far as his skills, we keep his unique skill, which is severe strength-based almighty attack on all enemies, greater effect if crit. Any skill that says greater effect if crit, it has the potential to do the most damage in the game. Other skills that says has a higher chance to crit just makes it to where it has a higher chance to crit, but this makes it to where if it crits, it will do more damage. So it has a higher potential of actually doing more damage. Now, whether this skill does more damage than the other one, I actually do not know. I tried to test it. I think almighty or AoE attacks have like a lower damage threshold because it hits all enemies versus single target skills. So it's hard to decide if one is better than the other one, but because of the MP difference, I keep the single target and I don't just go with the AoE all the time. That's why I kept them both. Of course, we have our almighty boosts, our crits a lot, bloody glee, and murderous glee. These stack, increasing his crit rate, and enduring soul. So because he has no weakness, I don't have to cover it. So we can just increase the crit rate so that he has a higher chance of doing more damage. You can always substitute, let's say, the bloody glee and go for an endure, and have endure and enduring soul. Next, we're on to the healers. So we have the best healer in the game, Konohana. She has an innate skill where when all stats are raised, greatly increase the amount of HP or MP restored by user's healing skill. It should say HP and MP. I don't know why it says or. So it pretty much, once she does let's say a Luster Canning, and then she does a heal after that, it's going to heal for more. And her unique skill is a slight HP and MP recovery to all allies and raises all stats by 1 rank for 3 turns. So it's just a better healer than any healer. Being able to recover HP, MP, and raise all stats by 1 is crazy. Also, we have this skill on here to greatly increase her next heal and makes it to where it heals over the max HP. This, I feel, is essential for any healer, so that you can overcap your HP and survive hits that you normally wouldn't be able to survive. We went for the high heal boost. I didn't have room for the regular heal. You might be able to find room a bit later, and I'll explain. Like with this skill, Great Life Spring. I feel like Great Life Spring is a great skill to have on every healer because they typically don't have a lot of HP. This will increase the survivability of your healers. But once you get to the end game where I am, where you can actually use the incense to max out your HP and MP, you can then remove these skills like Great Life Spring or Great Mana Spring because you won't need it anymore because your HP and MP will already be maxed, and you can replace them with, let's say, another heal buff. So that's why this is here, just so you know, for once you get to end game and your HP and MP are maxed out, you can remove these and put on other skills. We cover her weakness with repel, repel physical, because physical. We have endure and enduring soul, so she has 2 get out of jail free cards. Next, we have Indu, the best non-DLC healer. Her innate skillity is garbage. It actually does not matter, but as you can see, her build is pretty much the same to my previous one. She also has electric weakness, surprisingly enough, so cover her electric weakness. Her unique skill is almost the same, except for it does not recover MP. But pretty much the same things I said for the other one is pretty much the same for her. Once you max out HP and MP, you can remove these, add endure, add your other heal buff, self-exclamatory. Next, we have Demeter, which is a okay healer. Her innate skill is not useful. Not useful for what she's trying to do. It's okay. Magic attacks used by ladies, Migama, and female demons allies may become crit hits. So if you don't know, magic cannot crit in this game. So this skill actually making it to where your skills can crit is pretty good. But for the team that I'm using, this is like my third healer, so I don't really build towards this. So if you like her, hey, build towards it. Anyways, for skills, we keep her unique skill, which fully heals everybody HP and heals above the max HP. So because she has this skill, we do not go for the other skill that increases the healing and the max HP, or allows it to heal over the max HP, because it's already healing you for full, and it is healing above your max HP as well. So we replace that with Luster Candy, so she can also raise everybody's stats by 1. She just can't do it all in the same turn. Drain Physical, because I was able to get it on her. No Fire to cover her weakness. We have the Great Life, Great Mana, the High Heal buff, and Enduring Soul. Self-exclamatory, that's your healer. I really don't recommend having more than 3 healers. I've literally been playing through this game. If you did not know, I'm on my 11th playthrough of this game. Yeah, that's why it took so long to make this video. Sorry. There's not a point where I've ever had to use a third healer. If my first healer dies, I have a second one. If that healer dies, I'm probably dead. So I've never gotten to the point of actually using a third healer. But if you want it, hey, there you go. So next, we're gonna go to our support side with our buffers and debuffers. Starting with Beelzebub. His innate skill is actually broken. It's a debuff skill that lowers stats by 2 ranks when no Herald, Megami, female, or lady demons are in the active party. This is my main debuffer. He's pretty much in my main team, and I build around this skill by not having any of those demons in the active party. So this makes it to where when he does debilitate and lowers all the enemy stats, it lowers all their stats by 2 ranks instead of 1. As far as everything else, I kind of went a little, I don't know, trolly with this build. I gave him Drain everything because he naturally has Drain electric or lightning. So I just went for Drain Physical, Fire, Ice, Force, Light, and Dark to make it to where if they attack him with anything that's not piercing or almighty, it will end their turn. Because if you do not know, if you attack into a Drain effect, it will straight up end your turn. So if he gets attacked at all by something that's not almighty, it will end the opponent's turn, which is great. If you don't want to go that route, I recommend maybe putting on a buff that will give you Concentrate, or you know, the skill that increases your next physical attack or next magical attack relative to whatever attacker you're using. So if you're using a physical attacker, give him the one for physical. If you're using non-physical, give him the magic. You could also give him Luster Candy. You could also put another Endure on top of this Enduring Soul if you want to. You don't have to go the route I did. Just showing you what I chose to do. Next, spoilers. Spoilers. Sorry, should have said that before. Anyways, this demon. Her innate skills, garbage, no one cares. Unique abilities. This skill is a heavy almighty attack on all foes. It removes buffs and lowers stats by 1 rank for 3 turns. This skill is almighty, so it cannot be blocked, it cannot be absorbed. It's almighty. Also, it removes any buffs and then lowers all stats by 1 rank. So every time she does this skill, no matter how much the enemy has buffed themselves, it is guaranteed to put all their stats at -1 every time. That is amazing. I didn't get this demon until my 7th playthrough, by the way. because you have to go through a specific path. I'm not going to go into how you unlock all these demons. You can Google search it yourself. It's very annoying how to get all these demons, which is why I had to play through the game 11 times. Anyways, I gave her the single target. This is actually terrible on her. Definitely remove this, because first of all, she's not strength based. As you can see, her strength stat, this is not useful for her at all. Instead, put on the magic version or the attack version for this. This makes it to where she'll be able to buff your attacker, whether they're magical or physical, or you can go for luster candy. That way she can debuff and buff and cover both bases. No physical, because I can only get null on her. No light to cover her weakness. Abyssal mark to make it to where she is less likely to get insta-killed or hit by elements. Endure and enduring soul. There's not a lot of times where I ever, like, Beelzebub ever dies, so I didn't really refine this build very much. I kind of threw some stuff together, which is why this skill is on here. I would definitely remove that skill. I apologize. But that being said, next demon. Spoilers? Anyways, Lucifer. Everybody knows the fucking Lucifer. If you played Shimmy, you know this demon. He's in here for one thing only, and that's his innate skill. While an active party grants pierce effect and increased crit rate to all allies. This is amazing for the Nahobino. And I will, once I get to the Nahobino builds, I will show you why this works. And his unique skill is severe almighty attack on all foes and removes target's charge and barrier effect. There is no enemy, no demon in the game that can do that outside of Lucifer. So he can remove charges and barriers. So I decided to make him my debuffer. He can also, I gave him debilitate. I gave him as many drains as I could to cover any other element, so he pretty much drains half and then repels the other half. Endure and enduring soul, so that he can resurrect if he gets killed. And that's pretty much that. Next demon, Cleopatra. Cleopatra is a demon that's pretty good for the mid to late game, but can get kind of outscaled by better demons because her innate skill is actually useless. But her unique skill, chance of inflicting charm to all foes, lowers attack and defense by 2 ranks for 3 turns. Now, being able to lower attack and defense by 2 ranks is great, but it completely ignores agility, which is not great. It's not perfect. But this is pretty good mid to late game, not like end game, but yeah. Other than that, I just kept whatever severe attacks. You always want to go for any magic user. Never go AoE, because of course once you get to end game, you will have enemies that will repel, you have enemies that will drain. Doing an AoE of any element is a bad idea every time. So I gave her severe ice, single target, and severe light, single target. I also gave her luster candy and the increase to strength based attacks. Please ignore my Discord. Oh my god. Great mana spring to increase her MP. Then we have repel dark and enduring soul. Oh, actually, I don't think that picked up. Anyways, this is early debuffer. Like I said, I never not using Beelzebub, so you don't usually get to your 4th debuffer, but just give you an option because I love this character model. Hey, go for it. Next demon, Nua. So Nua is not a regular debuffer. I'm really using her for her innate skill, which is amazing. So when a user resists or null an attack 2 times or more, it adds a press turn icon at the start of the user's next turn. So she has to do it. It says when user, so she has to null or resist an attack 2 or more times and then it will add an extra turn on your next turn. So you can use, let's say, the items that give like the elemental barriers. You can use that item and that will count as her nulling the attacks. So if you use like the ice barrier that nulls ice for your whole party and the enemy does an AoE ice attack, you're gonna get an extra turn next turn. It's pretty great. So because of that, I gave her Luster Candy so that she can buff. I gave her the greatly increase your dex strength attack on one ally, and then null everything else. Now she automatically repels force, so I just kind of left that is what it is, which sucks because that doesn't really work with her innate skill, but you know, what can you do? So yeah, that's why she is the way she is. You can not go this route, you know, put on Enduring Soul, whatever you want to do, but I'm just telling you, this is why I built her this way. Next demon. We're still on our buffers / debuffers, and this is the last one. This demon, innate skill is actually pretty cool. While in active party, all allies I attack with charge effects may retain their charge effects. So this makes it to where when you use the skills, the magic and the strength buff on an ally, there's a chance they will keep this buff after doing their attack, which is broken. Outside of that, I just put debilitate so they can debuff. So when they're not buffing you, they can debuff the enemy or vice versa. Energy drain, so when you're not debuffing the enemy or buffing your ally's attack, you can be recovering MP. High Almighty, just to make energy drain do more damage. You don't really need that. Repel physical, because repelling physical is great. Abyssal Mark, which greatly decreases insta kill and chance of being affected by elements, and Enduring Soul. Like I said, some of these things are debatable. You can remove this, put another Endure, that way you have Endure and Enduring Soul. These I would keep, and either if you don't want to go debuff and you want to go buff, like give a Luster Candy, you can do that too. I would probably keep the energy drain because these skills cost a lot when you don't have +5 in support at the early games. So that's that build. Next, we'll be going on to our other demons. So these demons I specifically have for their innate skills, and the builds that I have on them are kind of irrelevant. So ignore all the skills, this doesn't really matter, but you can kind of look over it if you want to. But I just want to show you their innate skills. So this demon, when receiving a stat debuff, it adds a press turn icon at the start of the user's next turn. Any demon that has the ability to give you an extra turn is good. So that's why he's in there, because especially later on, enemies love to debilitate. Once you get debilitated, you're going to get an extra turn next turn, which is great. That's that demon. Next, Odin. So every other demon I think in my party at this point are all part of a series of demons that synergize well together. I will put the combo in this video. I'm not sure exactly where, but there's a combination of demons that allow you to fully debuff and fully buff yourself all in the first turn, like before the enemy can even act. It's really stupid. So they're here specifically for their innate abilities. So Odin, innate ability when switching out greatly increases damage of your next strength-based attack for switched ally. Next, while in active party, allies in battle would gain the same support effects as the user. Next demon, when summoned from the stock, lowers attacks of all allies and foes besides self by 1 rank for 3 turns. Next, when summoned from the stock, lowers accuracy and evasion of all allies and foes besides self by 1 rank for 3 turns. Next, when summoned from the stock, lower defense of all allies and foes besides self by 1 rank for 3 turns. I think you can kind of see where this is going. Next, when summoned from the stock, reverse stat buffs and debuffs of all allies besides self. So, kind of self-explanatory how that works. Now, I will go on and show you the honorable mentions.
Welcome.
Honorable mention demons. So we have our Kadishku. So all the Kadishus are actually really great. 2 of them kind of excel more than the others. This being one of them because of her innate skill. While in active parties, attacks including magic may become crit hits for Kadishu demon allies. So this works on herself. So she has a unique skill that does 12 minimal almighty attacks to random foes. So 12 guaranteed 12 attacks that may become crits is pretty broken. It's pretty good if you build towards it. So like if you build towards this demon being your attacker, or like you buffed her and everything, the damage you could do is crazy. Most multi-hit attacks have the potential of being the highest damage skills in the game because they hit so many times. So yeah, this is a good optional demon. As you can see, her skills pretty much self-explanatory. Almighty build, cover their weaknesses, repel physical. You can replace this for enduring soul, whatever, and go for the other increased crit rate, whatever. Good demon to use. Next demon I would say is the other healer, Danu. Again, I think is the worst of the unique healers. Her innate skill, while in active party, if an ally's defense is raised by 2 ranks, attacks do not strike their weakness when they are weakened. Oh wait, attacks that don't strike their weakness will be weakened. Okay, so pretty much if your defense are raised by 2, it'll make it to where any attacks that aren't your weakness would do less damage. This could be useful in a very defensive build, and it might be helpful for certain situations in the end game. So I guess I wouldn't write her off, but she doesn't fit for the demons and the builds that I'm going for. But if you want to go more defensive, there you go. Her unique skill is a moderate HP recovery, and it removes elements and debuffs for all allies. The ability to fully heal the party and remove elements is pretty good, but it also removes debuffs, which is kind of a plus. So it's pretty good. I just don't like her more than any of the other demons. You would pretty much just go for your usual healer build. Ignore this. I literally didn't build for any of this. It's just what is on this character. Her Mahasui skill is actually pretty good. This skill restores press turn icons to the state they were at the start of the turn. this is pretty broken. So even if you don't like use this demon in your active team, if you had her and her son, because I think those are the two demons you need, in like your stocks, and just switched into them after your turn's about to end because you're about to run out of turns, and just use this skill and then just recover all of your turns again. I think that could be pretty good. Again, not really what I'm building towards, so I didn't go for that. Next honorable mention demon would be this guy. So this guy we have, because of his innate skill, while in active party, lowers all foes' stats to the minimum for 3 turns when an ally becomes incapacitated. I just gave him the AoE, always pierce, always crit skill, and know everything. So he knows everything, so I don't have to worry about anything but Almighty and Enduring Soul. Because you're not really using him for his attacks or his skills. You can build him however the hell you want, but you're really using this skill because he synergizes great with another demon. Our vampire boy here, which has the innate skill while in active party, raises all ally stats to max for 3 turns when user becomes incapacitated once per battle. So you get this guy killed while you have the other guy in your party, them both in your active party, and it will fully debuff your enemies and fully raise your ally stats. This is, I guess, one of the first roundabout ways I use for maxing out my attack and lowering the enemy's stats to the most. This was very convoluted versus just trying to buff and debuff. It's very convoluted, but if you have the right setup, you can do it. So of course for him, I went for the medium physical AoE attack on all enemies. Has a high chance of landing a crit, which is important because you want him to AoE into a pack of enemies, and of course at the end game you're going to have enemies that will repel. So you want to AoE into an enemy that will repel, as well as an enemy that will just take damage. Hope that you crit on the normal enemies, so you could crit, get repelled, get killed, so you would get a shining press turn because you crit, but then you will also trigger his innate skill, which will buff everybody, as well as triggering the other guy's innate skill, which will debuff all the enemies. You can also go for just the skills that make it to where it draws their attacks to him, which is why Fierce Roar is on there, and then just the other stuff is just for increasing the chance of this skill critting, and Safeguard, so that if someone dodges or they repel, you don't lose turns, you would just gain that flashing turn from the crit. More convoluted than I think it's worth. Next honorable mention, this guy. I hate this guy. I hate his design. I hate him as a character. But his innate skill is okay, I guess. I just don't like it. Adds flashing press turns to the next turn based on how many times user weakness was struck / user took a crit hit. I never, in any game, I never like building towards you having to fail in some way in order to achieve some other power-up. I don't think it's ever worth it to have that mindset of, oh, I need them to crit on me, oh, I need them to strike my weakness. No, I would never rely on something like this. His unique skill is a severe almighty attack on all foes. Great effect. Greater effect of target has elements and has a chance of inflicting poison and mirage. I don't like this guy. If you want to use that ability, you can. That's why he's in honorable mentions. Next demon. We're getting close to the last demons here. Yes, my brothers of culture. The second I saw this demon, I said I did not care. If this demon was possible demon that you could get, I was going to make a build with her, and this is the build. This demon. Oh my god, this design is amazing. Anyways, first of all, her innate skill, while in an active party, raises accuracy and evasions of Kadishku demons, which is pretty much herself. Her unique skill, the animation for this unique skill is amazing, by the way. High chance of inflicting charm to all foes and removes stat buffs. This is not really that important. I just want to keep it for the culture. And outside of that, I just went for the regular buff debuffs. We got Luster Candy for the full buffs, Debilitate for the full debuffs, Great Life Mana Spring, Repel Physical, Boom Boost EX to make it to where when she buff/debuff, they last 2 extra turns, and Enduring Soul, so if she dies, she gets full healed back to full health. Yeah. She's here for the culture. Next demon. Last demon, Titania. Titania, when I first saw this innate skill, I was just like, there's no way she's not going to be in my final team. And look at her now, not in my final team. While in an active party with a Nahobino's HP reaches 0, an ally in the stock will be sacrificed to restore his HP to full. This is another get out of jail free card for the Nahobino, for your main character. So if you wanted, you have an item that will allow you to fully heal if you die. It's called something GOAT. I don't know. You have Endure, you have Enduring Soul, and then you could also have Titania in your active party as well. So you would have 4 reses if you put her in your active party. But I think I've never been in a fight where my Nahobino died that many times. So it didn't really justify keeping her. So I never actually made a build with her. That's why she's in honorable mentions. Well, that's all the demons. And now we're going to go on to the Nahobino himself. Starting with my first build, the magic build. Nahobino's actual innate skill is garbage. No one cares. This is the strongest hitting magical attack the Nahobino could get in the game. It does medium to severe almighty attack on one foe, and damage is increased based on the number of debuffs on the target. So if the target is fully debuffed, this will do more damage. Outside of that, I kind of love some of the newer skills they gave him with this kind of ninja aesthetic. So I went that route with some of the other skills. So we have this skill, which guarantees evasion from one attack for self for 1 turn. This is pretty good because it's guaranteed if you get attacked, you will dodge, which will cause the enemy to lose 2 turns. This skill greatly fills the Mahasugi gauge once per turn. This allows some gimmicks with being able to use your Mahasugi multiple times in a battle. So I feel like there's never a time you don't want to have this skill because the Mahasugi skills are broken and they are literally game changing if you're able to get them off. Most teams are built around a particular Mahasugi skill, and some of the ones that you get later on with this appearance change makes it to where you can attack 4 times in a row with any skill. So you can attack them 4 times in a row with your strongest magic based attack in the game. Of course, you went for the almighty boost to increase his almighty damage. This skill, after evading an attack, add a press turn icon at the start of the user's next turn. So this synergizes with this. So when you evade, not only do you evade, cause the enemy to lose 2 turns, but you're going to get an extra turn at the start of your next turn. This is why I went this route. Now, as far as this, then you have Endure and Enduring Soul, of course, your get out of jail free cards. After that, you have your resistances. When it comes to resistances, just take whatever resistance you need to handle whatever boss encounter you have next. Some good resistance souls to choose is, I say, Nama, the Kadishku girl. that I was talking about, the one for the Guise of Culture, her resistances are pretty good. She resists a lot, and the only thing you have to cover is physical. So just get like a null or a repel or whatever. Just cover your physical weakness, and that's a pretty good starting essence to use. Next one I would go for would be Trumpeter. Trumpeter has some pretty good resistances, and then of course your in-game resistance god is obviously Demi-Fiend. Being able to know all elements, and more importantly all elements, because you're gonna see that in this game they kind of try to make a couple of boss encounters where you're gonna get hit by elements more than just elemental attacks. So that's your resistances, your stat spread. For your magic build, you're going to focus on magic, of course, first. Now for this one in particular, my second most important stat would be agility. So magic, then agility. By the time you get to the point where you're able to get stats like mine, like where I am at the end game, where I'm grinding to max out my stats, it won't matter. You can go, you know, full 999 in every stat when you get to this point. And that will help with the next build that I have. Now, this build is the more ninja build. I kind of wanted to go for this build because of one skill in particular, which is Pestilence Blur. This skill can only be used after evading an attack on the previous turn. It's a 4 medium strength based light attacks on one foe. So of course it synergizes well with this skill, which guarantees you an evasion. So you will always start off your turn with this, of course, to make sure that you evade, and so that next turn you can use this skill. Of course I keep the evergreen on because why would you not keep the skill on? We got to do our light buffs because this is a light attack. We have this skill on, so where you evade, you get an extra turn next turn, endure and enduring soul, self-exclamatory. You can remove endure, and there is another skill that makes it to where when you evade, you will counter with a piercing physical attack on your opponent. That way you can do a bit more damage because you will dodge an attack as well. An attack that can't be like null, blocked, or repelled, which is pretty good. So if you want, you can replace that for that skill. And for your stat spread, you want to focus on strength as your primary and agility as your secondary. Because you have a guaranteed dodge, you don't really need that much agility. You need to focus on strength first and then agility. But of course, ignore my stats because I'm working on maxing out all of his stats, so that's why his magic is so high. Elusive Eclipse. First of all, it slightly raises your evasion, so it's going to give you evasion by itself. After evading, severe physical counterattack that ignores resistances and pierces through. So if you want more damage in this build, you can add this and like take off the endure, or maybe take off one of the light buffs, but I don't recommend it. Next is the Unga Bunga build that everybody knows and loves. Wait, I almost forgot to mention. God damn it. Lucifer. This is what Lucifer is for. His ability to grant pierce effect to increase crit rate of all allies is for this build. Because this is a light attack, this can be blocked, it can be repelled, it can be exorted. By having Lucifer in your party, it makes it to where this attack cannot be blocked, can't be nulled, can't be repelled. It took me until my 5th playthrough to unlock Lucifer, no, 6th playthrough. So I was not able to actually utilize his skill because once you get it, it's like, well, I don't want to use an attack that can be blocked, and I'm not going to waste a slot for a skill to make this pierce. So it was just like wasn't really worth using over the other almighty magical or almighty physical builds. But yeah, that's why we have Lucifer for this build. Next build. This build is your strength-based physical build. Self-exclamatory build, pretty much the same build that I use in the base game. Murukuma, severe strength-based almighty attack on one foe, greater effect F crit. So because of the greater effect F crit, we have to crit. So we're going for the almighty boost. We're going for the crits a lot so that it increases crit damage even further. But because of this, we definitely have to crit, so we have to go with the Bloody Glee and the Murderous Glee, which leaves us very little room to kind of play around with. So I love this skill, so if you do dodge, you can get an extra turn. You could take this off, you could put another Endure, you could put on the skill that actually makes it to where you dodge. But I feel like if you're going for a build like this, you want to try to get in as many attacks as possible with him. So you kind of want to build your team around, I guess, protecting him while he just does as much damage, protecting and of course buffing and debuffing. This build you can kind of play around with. I feel like you need to crit. And because we have the new Mahasugi skill, which allows you to do your next attack 4 times, you don't want to always rely on this one. But if you do want to rely on this one, then you don't need the crit buffs, and then you can put other skills on that. But if you want to use this skill and do this skill 4 times, which is going to do a lot of fucking damage, then you'll want to build kind of like this. This skill is kind of debatable. I would say maybe replace this, put Endure back on there. Or if you want something else that you can do that turn besides attacking, you can go for some of the other skills you had in the other builds, like the one that makes it so your Masu gauge fills faster, which would probably be more smart for a build like this where you're trying to use these skills and then do your Murukuma 4 times. But anyways, that's pretty much all the Nahobino builds that I would actually consider. There's one other one that I think is kind of debatable, which is a Vitality build. This skill decreases damage of all allies until the next turn. So using this is just a flat damage decrease. This can survive or help you survive from getting one-shotted and stuff like that. You put this on with like heals or some way to recover your MP if you're going to be focused on being a more support Nahobino build, which is the only reason you might want to go Vitality, which again is an option. It would help especially when you're first starting off the game to go for a Vitality build, because you're less likely to just get one-shotted. It won't help your other demons that will definitely get one-shotted, but it would help you. There's also another skill that you can put on. This one. This skill allows you to summon one ally at full HP, effective on incapacitated members as well. So if one of your members dies, you can use this skill to summon them back and revive them at full HP. So if you want to go for a more support build, those two skills, along with, I would say, the other skills that's like increased evasion, the other skill where if you evade, you get an extra turn, or the one that increases your Masuji gauge. These are good skills to kind of put on, as well as just like an AoE heal, or a heal that heals and cures, or an AoE status element removal, however you want to do it. But that's pretty much it. That's all the builds, that's all the demons, that's all I have for you in this video. If you made it to the end, thanks for watching. I know this was a long time coming, and I'll probably still do another one for whatever the next shimmy type game that comes out. I think Metaphor is the next game that I'll be playing, so I'll probably do a build for Metaphor if I like the game. I don't even know if I'm gonna like the game. Anyways, that being said, thanks for watching this video. I'll catch you guys next time.